There comes a moment in every life when the mirror is no longer a piece of glass, it's a battlefield. You stand before it, not facing the world, but facing yourself. And in that silence, with no one to blame and nowhere to run, the question strikes you like thunder in a night sky. Who have I decided to become? Because make no mistake, you are not a product of chance. You are not shaped by luck. You are built, every day, by the beliefs you choose to carry. Belief is not a soft thing. Belief is steel. Belief is the invisible hand that builds empires, writes history, and decides who wins long before the battle begins. People think success starts with opportunity. It doesn't. It starts with identity. It starts with belief. Every fortune, every breakthrough, every revolution was first born as a belief inside someone who refused to doubt. Long before Thomas Edison lit up the world, he walked through endless nights believing light was possible. Long before Henry Ford built his first car, he believed that ordinary men could own extraordinary machines. Long before Walt Disney built his empire, he believed the world still needed magic. And long before anyone cheered their names, the world laughed at them. That's how belief works. It's lonely at first. Belief is not given. It's forged. In the furnace of doubt, of late nights, of failure, of silence. Belief is the bridge between the man you are and the man you're meant to become. And that bridge is built not once, but every single day. What you believe, deeply and relentlessly, will shape what you become, not by magic, not by wishful thinking, but by the decisions those beliefs force you to make. You will always move in the direction of what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're not enough, your actions will reflect that. If you believe you're destined for more, your actions will echo that. Your outer world is nothing but a reflection of the inner story you repeat to yourself every morning, every night, in every quiet moment when no one's watching. That's the real battlefield, not the world. You. Belief isn't about arrogance. It's about ownership. It's about standing in front of the storm and saying, "This is where I plant my feet." Belief is when no one believes in you and you still believe anyway. Belief is when failure isn't a finish line but a forge. It's when rejection is a reminder, not a reason to quit. It's when silence isn't loneliness, it's focus. And understand this. The world will try to talk you out of your belief. It always does. They told Edison he was wasting his life. They told Ford no one would ever want a car. They told Disney he had no imagination. They told Abraham Lincoln he wasn't fit to lead. The world will throw its doubt at you like stones. And if your belief is weak, it will break. But if your belief is forged, those same stones become the foundation beneath your feet. Every great story is written twice, once in the mind and then in the world. That's why belief must come before achievement. You don't wait for the world to give you permission to believe. You decide first. The moment you believe, everything begins to move. Doors that were invisible appear. Strength you thought you didn't have begins to rise. And life stops being something that happens to you and starts being something you build. But belief isn't a one-time declaration. It's a discipline. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it weakens if you don't feed it, train it, guard it. Every time you choose to act with courage instead of fear, your belief grows stronger. Every time you choose focus over distraction, your belief sharpens. Every time you choose the future over the comfort of the present, you are building the identity of someone unstoppable. You see, success doesn't begin with skill. Skill comes later. Success begins with belief strong enough to make you start when you have nothing but a vision and a heartbeat that refuses to quit. Skill can be taught. Belief must be claimed. That's why most people fail before they even begin. It's not because they're not talented. It's because they don't believe enough to stay when it gets hard. Belief is the engine that keeps moving when the fuel runs out. It's the thing that whispers one more step when your body is screaming no more. It's the thing that makes a person take another swing when the world has already written their story as over. Look at every empire that exists today. Look at every innovation, every movement, every leap forward humanity has ever made. Behind it was a single human who believed enough to be dangerous. Belief turns ordinary men into warriors. Belief turns small steps into revolutions. Belief turns dreams into movements. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Belief comes with a price. You will lose people. You will outgrow comfort. You will face doubt, from others and from yourself. You will walk alone more than once. And if you're not willing to pay that price, then belief will remain a whisper, not a weapon. The reason the masses never rise is because their belief is shallow. It's loud in the light but silent in the dark. True belief grows in the dark. It grows when no one claps, when no one notices, when no one cares. It grows in the quiet hours of sacrifice, in the sweat no one sees, in the decisions no one understands. That is why belief is not for the weak. Belief is for builders. For dreamers who refuse to surrender. For those who are willing to plant their roots deep enough that no storm can uproot them. For those who build their vision not on sand but on bedrock. You become what you believe because belief controls everything. It controls how you see the world. It controls how you talk to yourself. It controls how you act, how you respond, how you persist. A weak belief makes you a leaf in the wind. A strong belief makes you the storm. When you understand this, your entire life changes. You stop chasing approval. You stop asking permission. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for the world to give you a green light. You build your own road and you walk it like it belongs to you. Because it does. The world belongs to those who decide to believe in something greater than their circumstances. Every person who ever changed the world started with nothing more than an idea and the conviction to make it real. Andrew Carnegie started with nothing. Henry Ford had no blueprint. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times. Walt Disney was fired for lack of imagination. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won. And yet every single one of them believed anyway.
Their belief didn't just give them strength, it demanded they rise. It forced their hands to build. It made their vision heavier than their excuses. And because they believed, they acted. And because they acted, the world changed. So what about you? What do you believe? Not when the world is cheering for you, not when the road is smooth, but when everything is silent, when the mirror stares back, when the odds say no. What you believe in that moment will determine everything. Belief is not loud. Belief is not glamorous. Belief is quiet power. It's the hand that keeps building when the world looks away. It's the whisper that becomes a roar. It's the seed that becomes the forest. It's the thing no one can give you and no one can take away. And when belief becomes a part of your identity, something shifts. You stop trying to be ready. You simply become unstoppable. When you truly believe, you start to see what others can't. You see doors where others see walls. You see paths in places others call impossible. And when the world shouts, "Be realistic," you smile, because you understand that everything that exists today was once unrealistic to someone. The airplane was unrealistic. The light bulb was unrealistic. Mass production, the radio, the internet, all unrealistic until belief turned them into reality. The word unrealistic is simply the fear of those who stopped believing. When you anchor your belief in vision, not circumstance, something extraordinary happens. Circumstances bend. The mountain moves. The weight that crushes most people becomes the weight that forges you. You stop asking if it's possible. You start asking, how will I make it real? That is the mindset of creators, of leaders, of visionaries. That is the mindset of those who build history rather than just watch it. But belief without clarity is like fire without direction. It burns bright, but it doesn't build. That's why clarity matters. Clarity is the chisel that gives shape to belief. It's not enough to say, "I want to be successful." You must see it so clearly that you can walk through your future in your mind before it ever exists in the world. You must build your vision with such detail that doubt suffocates in its presence. Think of Thomas Edison working late into the night, his workshop lit by a single flickering lantern, hundreds of failed experiments around him, his hands burned, his eyes tired, but in his mind, he already saw the world lit up. Think of Walt Disney standing in an empty field where others saw nothing but dirt, but he saw castles and dreams and a place where imagination lived. That's clarity. That's the power of seeing the world not as it is, but as it will be. And clarity is not given. It's carved. It's earned in quiet hours, when you sit alone and wrestle with your own distractions, when you dare to ask yourself not what do I want, but what am I willing to give to get it. It's easy to talk about dreams. It's harder to define them. Harder still to build a life around them. But the ones who do, those are the ones who rise. Clarity strips away the noise. It pulls your attention out of the crowd and focuses it on the target. It makes your decisions sharp. It turns maybe one day into this is who I am becoming. With clarity, you no longer chase everything. You chase the one thing that matters. You stop scattering your energy on distractions, approval, and meaningless competition, because you've chosen a path that's bigger than the noise. And when clarity meets discipline, something unstoppable is born. Discipline is the muscle that carries belief when motivation fades. Motivation is fire at the start, but discipline is the engine that never turns off. Discipline wakes you when the world sleeps. Discipline makes you do the work when no one is clapping. Discipline makes you keep swinging when your hands are bleeding. Most people will never taste greatness because they are slaves to their feelings. They act when they feel like it. They work when it's easy. They believe when it's convenient. But the few, the great, understand that discipline doesn't ask for your feelings. It demands your commitment. It's the invisible contract between your belief and your destiny. Look at Henry Ford. While others mocked, he worked. Look at Andrew Carnegie. While others doubted, he built. Look at Abraham Lincoln. While others quit, he stood back up again and again. Their discipline made their belief unshakable. Their belief made their discipline relentless. That's the loop that builds empires. Discipline is not glamorous. It's early mornings when no one sees you. It's saying no when everyone else says yes. It's choosing purpose over pleasure, legacy over comfort, and focus over noise. Discipline is your vote for the future you claim to believe in. Every day you act with discipline, you are telling the universe, I'm not just wishing. I'm building. And yet, discipline alone is not enough. You must combine it with a fire that never dies. Purpose. Purpose is what gives pain its meaning. Without purpose, pain breaks you. With purpose, pain forges you. Without purpose, obstacles stop you. With purpose, obstacles sharpen you. Purpose is the thing that whispers, keep going when everyone else would turn back. It's the thing that pulls you out of bed when everything inside you wants to stay down. It's what makes suffering meaningful. And every great human story is born from someone who decided that their purpose was louder than their pain. Purpose is what made Thomas Edison work through failure after failure. It's what made Walt Disney keep going after bankruptcy. It's what made Abraham Lincoln stand again after defeat. Purpose isn't soft. Purpose is steel wrapped around your heart. But purpose doesn't come from outside you. It's not found in applause or titles. It's born in silence. It's born in those quiet moments when you realize that your life was never meant to be ordinary. That something inside you refuses to settle. That you were built for more. That your existence isn't just a reaction to the world, it's a mission to shape it. And here's the truth. Once you have purpose, once your belief, clarity, discipline, and purpose align, you become a force of nature. Obstacles don't disappear, but they no longer scare you. Doubt doesn't vanish, but it no longer controls you. Fear still knocks on your door, but it finds no home inside you. You stop playing defense in life. You go on the attack. When your purpose is clear, when your discipline is sharp, when your belief is unshakable, the world starts to shift. You speak differently. You walk differently. You choose differently. You stop chasing everything that isn't meant for you. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop lowering your voice just to make others comfortable. You stop playing small. And when that happens, something else awakens, action. Massive, relentless, intelligent action. Because no amount of belief matters if it never touches the ground. No dream matters if it never leaves the mind. You must act. Even when it's messy. Even when it's imperfect. Especially when it's uncertain. The greatest tragedy of most lives isn't that they aimed too high and missed. It's that they aimed too low and hit. They waited for the perfect moment, the perfect clarity, the perfect path. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. Greatness belongs to those who step into the unknown with nothing but their belief as their armor. Look at the inventors, the leaders, the builders, the visionaries. They didn't act because they were ready. They acted because they refused to stay where they were. Read the story of Thomas Edison and you'll find a man who acted thousands of times before the world ever gave him credit. Study Henry Ford and you'll find a man who acted when no one believed in him. Action builds momentum. Momentum builds belief. Belief builds destiny. When you move, life moves. When you stand still, nothing changes. You cannot think your way into greatness. You must act your way into it. You must become the kind of person who moves forward no matter how small the steps are. Because small steps compound into unstoppable force when fueled by belief. And understand this clearly, the road will not be smooth. It never is. That's why most people quit. But that's also why those who don't become legends. And when the road starts to break beneath your feet, when the wind turns against you, that's where the next truth reveals itself. The ones who rise are not the ones who never fall, they are the ones who adapt. Life does not reward the rigid. It rewards the relentless. Those who cling to the way things should be are crushed by the weight of change. But those who bend with the storm, those who evolve, those who refuse to be trapped by yesterday's version of themselves, they become unstoppable. Adaptability is the art of not just surviving the storm, but learning to dance inside it. The world is built on change. Empires rise and fall, industries vanish, technologies evolve, the rules are rewritten again and again. If your belief is shallow, change will break you. But if your belief is deep, change becomes your ally. It becomes the wind in your sails, not the wall in your way. Look at the story of Henry Ford. His first attempts failed. His early factories closed. His ideas were mocked. But he adapted. He learned, rebuilt, and changed not just his business but the entire world's way of moving. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb once. He failed hundreds of times, adapting with each strike of failure. Walt Disney was rejected by banks, critics, entire industries. But he adapted. And because he adapted, he endured. Adaptability is the opposite of ego. Ego says, I know everything. Adaptability says, I will learn everything. Ego builds walls. Adaptability builds bridges. Ego breaks at the first impact. Adaptability bends and rises stronger. If you want to live a life bigger than the one handed to you, you must be willing to outgrow yourself again and again. And this is where resilience enters the battlefield. Adaptability lets you adjust to the storm. Resilience makes you walk through it. Resilience is the armor forged in failure, sharpened in pain, polished in darkness. It's not about never being hurt. It's about refusing to stay broken. It's not about never losing. It's about rising again and again, each time harder to defeat. Resilience is not built in moments of victory. It's built when your back is against the wall, when the world turns its back, when no one is coming to save you. That's when the fire either dies or roars. And the great ones, those who change everything, let it roar. History is filled with names who refuse to break. Abraham Lincoln faced defeat after defeat, losing election after election, mocked, underestimated, alone. Yet his resilience carried him into becoming one of the greatest leaders in history. Andrew Carnegie came to America with nothing but an idea and a relentless will. He faced poverty, ridicule, and endless obstacles. But resilience built his empire. Edison faced darkness thousands of times before the world saw the light. These people didn't rise because they were special. They rose because they refused to stay down. The world breaks everyone, but not everyone learns how to rise from the cracks. Some let the cracks swallow them. Others use the cracks to let the light in. You must decide which one you are. Resilience is a decision as much as it is a strength. You decide to get up. You decide to fight. You decide to keep moving even when your knees shake. But here's the paradox. True strength is not just forged in defiance. It's also born in gratitude. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending the world is perfect. It means acknowledging the fire while still choosing to see the light. It means finding something to be thankful for even in the moments that hurt. Because gratitude keeps your heart alive when the world tries to harden it. Gratitude is power, not weakness. It keeps you grounded while you grow. It reminds you that even when you have nothing, you still have something. The great builders, the visionaries, the warriors of the mind, they all understood this. Edison was grateful for the chance to fail. Lincoln was grateful for the fight itself. Disney was grateful for the chance to imagine. Gratitude doesn't just make you strong. It makes you unbreakable. When you walk with gratitude, even pain becomes a teacher. Failure becomes a lesson, not a wound. Challenges become chapters, not walls. Gratitude doesn't erase the storm. It gives you the strength to walk through it without losing your soul. That's the difference between the ones who rise and the ones who rust. When resilience meets gratitude, your mindset changes. You stop seeing obstacles as punishments and start seeing them as preparation. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this building in me?" That question alone can transform an entire life. And when you build a mind that adapts, endures, and gives thanks even in the fire, you become dangerous in the best way. Because now, nothing can control you. The economy can shift. People can betray. The world can throw storms. But you no longer wait for calm seas to move forward. You build your ship to sail through hurricanes. That's when life stops being about survival and starts being about mastery. Mastery isn't about perfection. Mastery is about control. It's about mastering your emotions when the world tries to control them. Mastering your focus when distractions scream for your attention. Mastering your reactions when the world tests your patience. Mastery is quiet power. The kind of power that doesn't need to shout, because it cannot be shaken. The ones who master themselves are the ones who end up mastering their destiny. The world bends for those who no longer bend for their excuses. The world bows to those who lead themselves before they ever try to lead others. This is why most people never rise. They build their life around external control, not internal command. But those who do, they become forces of nature. Think about this. The greatest minds in history weren't just dreamers. They were masters of their own thoughts. Napoleon Hill himself wrote that thoughts are things, and the power to direct those thoughts is the power to shape your life. Edison mastered his failures. Ford mastered his vision. Carnegie mastered his hunger. Lincoln mastered his pain. Disney mastered his imagination. All of them learned the same truth. When you master yourself, the world can no longer master you. And mastery isn't some distant gift reserved for the chosen few. It's a daily war fought in the silence of your own mind. It's every time you choose discipline over distraction. Every time you choose to rise instead of retreat. Every time you choose purpose instead of comfort. That is mastery. When you live like that, fear stops controlling you. Doubt loses its grip. Other people's opinions become whispers in a storm too loud to be silenced. And you realize something revolutionary. You were never fighting the world. You were fighting yourself. And the moment you win that war, everything else begins to fall into place. Because the truth is, the world will never give you the life you want. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't hand over greatness. It tests you for it. It breaks you to see if you'll rebuild. It delays you to see if you'll persist. It starves you to see if you'll grow your own fire. It's never been about what the world gives. It's always been about what you're willing to build. You want more? Then you must become more. Not someday. Now. You must build the belief that will outlast your fear. You must craft the clarity that will slice through your doubt. You must build the discipline that will outwork your excuses. You must find the purpose that will keep you standing when everything else falls. You must forge the adaptability that thrives in chaos. The resilience that rises from the ashes. The gratitude that keeps your soul alive. And the mastery that turns every storm into a path forward. You don't need permission to become that person. You only need to decide. And once you decide, once you lock in and refuse to bend, the world will not be able to ignore you. There comes a point in the journey where everything is stripped away. No applause. No validation. No comforting voices. Just you, your breath, and the echo of your own heartbeat in the dark. This is the moment where most give up. This is the place where dreams die, not because they were impossible, but because someone stopped believing. But if you can stand in that darkness, if you can still whisper to yourself, "I believe," then you've crossed the threshold that breaks most and forges the few. Every dream worth chasing will demand this from you. It will demand the nights where your hands shake and your mind screams to quit. It will demand the moments when no one understands what you're building. It will demand sacrifice, patience, courage, and most of all, it will demand that your beliefs stand taller than your pain. Because pain is temporary. But belief is forever. You must understand, the world does not reward those who almost believe. It rewards those who bet everything on their conviction. Those who say, "This is who I am," long before anyone else can see it. Those who live their visions so fiercely that reality has no choice but to bend around it. Those who take their pain and turn it into power. Belief is not a gentle friend. It is a roaring fire. It will burn away your excuses, your lies, your masks. It will leave you face to face with the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. But when you embrace that fire instead of running from it, it doesn't destroy you, it purifies you. It makes you sharp. It makes you unshakable. It makes you dangerous to mediocrity. Think of every name etched into the pages of history. Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Andrew Carnegie, Abraham Lincoln, Napoleon Hill. These people were not blessed with ease. They were forged in struggle. Edison failed thousands of times before the world ever celebrated his light. Ford faced ruin and mockery before his vision became reality. Disney was told his dreams were worthless before they became a global legacy. Carnegie was a poor immigrant before he built empires. Lincoln was defeated again and again before he united a nation. And Napoleon Hill wrote of wealth while living through hardship that would have crushed most. Their stories are not stories of perfection. They are stories of unshakable belief. They carried their conviction like a torch through storms most could never endure. And because they did, the world remembers their names. Not because the world gave them power, but because they took it from their own belief. And here's the truth that burns through time: you are no different. You have within you the same furnace, the same fire, the same capacity to build something extraordinary. You have a choice every single day to let your belief shrink to the size of your fear or grow to the size of your vision. You are not waiting for a savior. You are not waiting for the perfect timing. You are not waiting for permission. You are the storm. There will always be voices telling you it can't be done. There will always be people who doubt, who mock, who try to make your vision smaller because they fear what it would say about their own. But their doubt does not define you. Your belief does. Their fear is not your cage unless you choose to build it with them. The moment you decide to live by your belief instead of their permission is the moment your life changes forever. But this is not easy. And it never will be. Because greatness has never belonged to the soft, the comfortable, the half-committed. It belongs to the relentless. It belongs to the ones who stand up when their legs shake. It belongs to the ones who take the hits and keep moving. It belongs to the ones who stop negotiating with their future. You must become someone whose belief is louder than their excuses. Someone whose vision is stronger than their comfort. Someone who doesn't need applause to keep moving. Someone who decides. Not someday. Today. Because every day you hesitate, someone else who believes more deeply is moving forward. Every day you overthink, someone else is building. Every day you wait for the right moment, someone else is creating their own moment. You can watch. Or you can build. But you cannot do both. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be the one who refuses to let go of their belief when everyone else does. That alone will separate you from the masses. That alone will build your momentum. That alone will make the impossible inevitable. Belief doesn't make the road easy. It makes you strong enough to walk it. It doesn't remove the obstacles. It gives you the fire to break through them. It doesn't guarantee applause. It guarantees legacy. And the thing about legacy is this: it's not built on what you say. It's built on who you become. The legacy of Napoleon Hill wasn't just his words. It was the empire of belief his words created. The legacy of Edison wasn't the bulb. It was the courage to try when the world said no. The legacy of Disney wasn't a mouse. It was a vision so clear that it outlived him. So ask yourself, what will your legacy be? Will you be another name that whispered maybe and faded into the noise? Or will you be the one who stood tall when the world tried to shrink you? The one who built something greater than their excuses? The one who believed so fiercely that reality itself had no choice but to follow? If your answer is the latter, then you must rise. Not tomorrow. Now. You must start living as if your belief is already law. You must speak with the certainty of someone who knows their path. You must act with the discipline of someone who refuses to lose. You must adapt like water, endure like steel, and lead yourself like no one else can. You must become the kind of person who is remembered, not because you were lucky, but because you were unshakable. Not because the world gave you a crown, but because you forged it in the fire of your own conviction. This is what separates the few who build empires from the many who settle for survival. Not talent. Not luck. Not perfect timing. Belief. Relentless, disciplined, unbreakable belief. Every single thing you desire already exists in the future, waiting for the version of you that believes enough to claim it. The wealth, the purpose, the power, the legacy. It's all there. But it won't wait forever. Every day is a chance. Every sunrise is an invitation. Every breath is a choice. So choose. Choose to rise when fear whispers no. Choose to work when comfort says rest. Choose to believe when the world laughs. Choose to become the storm the world remembers. One day, they'll speak your name, not because you followed, but because you built. Not because you wished, but because you decided. Not because you were chosen, but because you believed. The power has always been yours. It was never outside you. It has lived in your mind, in your heart, in your breath since the very beginning. All you ever needed was the courage to claim it. So claim it now. Stand up, breathe deep, and walk forward like the world already belongs to you. Because belief isn't about waiting for proof. It's about becoming the proof. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to build. You are not meant to beg. You are meant to create. You are not meant to fade. You are meant to leave a mark so deep that time itself remembers your name. You become what you consistently believe. Not what you hope. Not what you wish. What you believe. So believe boldly. Believe relentlessly. Believe so fiercely that doubt suffocates in your presence. And when they ask you how you built your life, how you carved your name into history, how you made the impossible real, you'll smile. Because you'll know the truth. You didn't wait for permission. You believed. And that changed everything.